So today we are going to delve into the wondrous Cauldron of Warming. So if it is safe and appropriate, I'd like you to lay both hands on the belly, wherever feels right to you. 2 hands on the belly, and just allow it to relax and to be. Allow those muscles to soften. We're very often holding the belly in because we've been conditioned to the fact that having any type of belly is less than or unattractive or somehow a sign of just being less than. So I just want you to allow it to soften and relax, and just begin breathing into the touch. I always say that is the magic and the medicine. And as we breathe into the touch on the belly, we're going to allow the belly just to expand. Breathing as deep as we can get. No need to force anything, but just breathing as deep as we can get into the belly. And just feeling it there. Giving some love to the belly. You know, the belly is often hidden or chastised, or, you know, we've got an issue with it. We've quite often got a lot of ill feeling towards this cauldron, and I'd just like you to give it a bit of love in this moment. Because it's got you through 100% of the days that you've been alive. And whether you've been aware of it or not, it's been holding your humanity. It's been holding your life force essence and keeping you here in this life, on this beautiful planet. So a little bit of appreciation for the Cauldron of Warming, and just allowing it to be whatever shape it needs to be without you holding it in. Being fully present here in the body, in this moment, open but protected as you receive this transmission. So the Cauldron of Warming, it's a big love between me and the Cauldron of Warming. It's a love thing. And the reason it's a love thing is because when I think it's actually part of my Dharn, which is like Dharma. So Irish word Dharn is your like soul blueprint. It's part of the thing you've come in to do. It's part of your mission. And, you know, I think part of my mission was to become a mother. I think part of my mission was to be, was to write. You know, even if only for myself. You know, Dharns don't have to be particularly, you know, sexy and extravagant. You know, a Dharn can be very simplistic. I spoke the other day about the Tuatha Dé Danann and how they shone. They were radiant from within because they were all doing what they were here to do. And whatever it was, part of that was always to be a part of the village, to be a part of the community. But I really feel there was, as soon as I started to lay my hands on people, now, I don't feel like it's healing per se. I think it's just getting in touch with another person's system and allowing their system to do what it needs to do. But as soon as I started to lay my hands on people, to balance them, to relax them with Reiki, and then later with Imbas for Osne, I was so taken aback by, I was always met with this coldness, or let's say an absence of heat, whenever I touched below the belly button. And it was the same, person after person after person. And what I now realise is it wasn't what I was feeling per se, it was signalling to me, because this was an area that I needed to work on. And it's an area that collectively, as a human race, we need to work on, particularly people who are, not, I would imagine, I would imagine that people who are living on their native land, in their native customs, still, living in deep community, will have a great connection with their lower cauldron, because it's your ancestry, it's your connection to the land, it's your connection to a specific part of the land as well, because it's constantly being fed kind of by the ley lines that we walk upon. So if you're generationally belonging to a specific place, you have this like ancestral wisdom, this embodied wisdom that is related to that specific land. And it's way further back than you and your life, So it's very, very strong. And it's this energy that is actually, it's this energy coming up that is, I would say, the most potent of it. I think cosmic energy and energy coming down into the cauldron system is incredible, and it's light filled, and it's, it can take us away out of the moment, and it can do wondrous things while we're channeling it. However, it's not, you have to be very grounded to receive it. And also, it's otherworldly. It's where we came from, and it's where we'll go back to. But it's not the present situation that you find yourself in as a human being. That energy, that frequency, that coding comes from below. Because it's the coding of the ancestry that we belong to, the lineage we belong to, and it's the coding of the land that we have walked and are currently walking. So it's really, really important. Like it's the essence of being human. And unfortunately, this lack of connection, because that's what I was feeling when I was laying my hands on people. It's a lack of connection to it. It's their lack of connection. Because when you're doing energy work on someone, you are hooking up to their energetic profile and their relationship with certain parts of themselves, and you're reading that. That's what you're doing. You may enable, or you may be able to channel some frequencies through to kind of boost the system. But any feedback you're getting is their relationship to their energetics. So what I was sensing in this lack of heat, this lack of warmth, was a lack of connection into this lower cauldron. And it's extremely common, the places I'm working, Manchester, Gloucester, and usually, places I'm working on people who usually have mooched about either historically or with their families, people who are kind of open to this life and this way of being have usually been about a bit. So, this lack of connection has come from not having lived generationally on a piece of land, plus the trauma that as human beings we encounter in this area. And it's really unsurprising, and it's really common. And what happens is, almost from birth, our connection to this area is interrupted and traumatized. Okay? And we remove ourselves from it, we detach from it in order to not, it's disassociation. When you remove feeling and sensation from an area in order to survive pain and trauma. Now, I'm not talking, it can be big T trauma, it can be enormous things that happen to us, or it can be little things like being shamed, or, we're all put through this idea in the West that, even something as simple as pee and poo and menstrual blood is disgusting. It's something to be dealt with in private. It's something that if somebody sees wee or poo or menstrual blood, that it is shameful. Now, that in itself is harmful for a connection to this area, because a healthy body does all of those. A healthy female body, obviously. A healthy male body doesn't menstruate, but a healthy female body does all of those things. And a healthy male body excretes urine and poo. So can you see that we're kind of immediately conditioned that this is not an area for us? Not to mention the complications then that we find around sex and shame and all the other things. So all I want you to do today, because I'm going to continue this conversation over the next 3 days, and if you are really interested in it, I am running a free masterclass on Saturday at 11 a.m, a deep dive into the Cauldron of Warming.